Hey, yo, yo, yo. This is your man, Arthur Romeo. And who do we got here?
My name is Tom, welcoming you from New York.
New York, New York!
West Coast.
Oh, man. And welcome to Tales to Admonish, where Tom and I talk about the finer news of geekery.
Indeed, all the things we love and sometimes some of the things that we don't love, maybe.
Mostly the things that we don't love because there's a lot of crap out there.
And we're happy to consume it for you so you don't have to.
Well, hopefully you consume it too so we can all talk about these things in the message boards. But let me introduce myself. I'm Arthur Romeo, come from Hollywood, California. I've been geeking for over 30 years, just geeking it all over the place, geeking. That's what we do. And loving film, animation, video games, tabletop games. Yeah, just full galoot here.
And my name is Thomas Olton. I am an event producer and creative working out of New York, just north of the Bronx in Westchester County. I am a lifelong comic book and horror fan. I am privileged enough to work in the horror entertainment industry, producing Halloween events, typically pre-COVID across the country, and more specifically now in some local neighborhoods near you. I have entirely too many comic books, and I'm happy to talk about it.
He's a beast. Yeah. I mean, me and Tom, we've been friends for like the past 7 years, and we just vibe so much on so many like old school stuff, and just maintaining the quality, just wanting to see that quality things come out, and also pointing out like all the crappy stuff that happens, and in this type of entertainment business where things have to be churned out. It's, I don't know, I guess it's a little bit of a schadenfreude, like, yeah, fuck those guys, they're horrible.
And speaking of horrible, we're all dealing with COVID right now, so that really affects what we're able to do and what we're able to see. Thankfully, we are living in the golden age of streaming, so we're able to get quality entertainment sent directly to our homes and pay God knows how much for it, because I have no idea. I have like 9 different streaming services and cable and television.
Yeah, wasn't it beautiful when Roku first came out like 5, 6, 7 years ago, and like it was a real like FU to the cable companies. It's like it was such a beautiful thing. But now we're probably paying more than what we paid on the cable bill now.
Well, yeah, because it seems like with all these streaming services, there's going to be some kind of company that comes along and groups them all into some sort of package that you can pay one price for. Something like a cable company might be able to handle that.
Yeah.
So the more it changes, the more it stays the same.
Oh,
but
Lord.
Speaking of movies, Arthur,
Yeah.
You said that you actually got out to a movie theater recently. How was that?
Man, it was fantastic, man, because basically the last movie I saw right at the point of the pandemic was Sonic the Hedgehog. And yeah, that's not like the last film that I want to be like left with a taste in my mouth, even though I enjoyed it. I was really waiting to see Black Widow and all, like, just everything that Marvel had coming for us like last year that got all delayed and stuff. Besides one other case where my friends threw a private movie screening birthday party for my daughter in October, there wasn't really any other time that we went to the movies. So that was like the longest period since I was like a small kid that I hadn't been to the movie theater. And it really hurt, man. like movies are everything to me. So now that things are kind of starting to, get a little looser, I was able to finally take my daughter to see The Croods like last Friday. And it was like, I was so buzzed to be in a theater. I even yelled at a bunch of people going into another screen. It's like, we're at the movie theater.
No, I was gonna say I love movies, but I hate movie theaters, which is a weird place to be. Let me correct that. I hate what we call our conventional movie theaters, the sticky floor and sharing armrests with the people next to you and the $6 popcorn and the $7 soda. I'm no big fan of that experience, looking around. Where am I going to sit? If I get in late, do I have to sit right up on the screen, or do I have to sit all the way in the back with, the people who are just there to make out and make noise? Like, I miss number one, I miss the local Alamo Draft House, which was in Yonkers and subsequently closed, unfortunately. And I also missed, we had an iPic theater, which had those little pods where it was 2 armchairs and some pillows and some blankets, and you had a waiter.
Don't you just fall asleep, though? I can't have the seat be too comfortable.
No, 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 no. Not when you pay $28 to sit in that seat. You don't fall asleep. But I was willing to pay. I was willing to pay for a premium movie-going experience. For all I appreciate it, I honest to God couldn't tell you what the last movie I saw in theaters was. It was so long ago by this point, and I even got they actually closed before COVID. The iPic in my location, they were having some trouble. They still have the ones down in Manhattan and stuff like that. But as far as the one that was closest to me, they had closed a little early. So it might have been Spider-Man Far From Home, might have been the last one that I actually saw in the iPic. And then I think the last
That's a
movie
good
I
one to
saw
go out
in
on.
theaters was I went and I saw Scary Movie as hosted by Joe Bob Briggs at the Alamo Draft House. And that's so much fun. If you guys aren't watching his show on Shudder, then you're seriously missing out. I love that man.
That's dope. Yeah, yeah, so I just saw last night. I saw, like we live in a weird time where it's just like, no, see it at home and at the theater, and I don't know. I mean, you kind of have to be a super movie freak to be like, I'm gonna go pay to see it, But that's what I am, man. Like, I mean, I don't want to see King Kong, and it's already gonna be a dumb movie. A big dumb movie, but you got to see a big dumb movie on a big dumb screen. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but that's what it is. You went to go see. You did recently. You saw Kong versus Godzilla,
Yeah.
and that's the perfect movie to go see on a screen because that is a push popcorn into your face and watch monsters punch each other kind of movie.
Yeah.
And I think you lose some of that experience in your home.
Yeah, I mean, when it was basically when it's the only choice you have, yeah, you'll do that, but It's just interesting what I'm willing to do as a movie fan, especially missing the theater so much, because I saw Raya, the new Disney not kung fu, but martial arts movie. I saw it at home. It was really good, but it's like big animated pictures like that. You got to see it in a theater first, like that. It's really magical to see these things on a big screen.
Yeah, I saw that movie had underperformed a little bit, according to people's expectations. Now, you have Disney Plus, obviously, so you're able to watch it, and you paid extra to watch that movie, and you were happy to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I got a kid, so I mean, that's like our thing. I take her to the movie theater all the time, and I try to give her as many experiences as possible, and I love to support the Disney animated films that are more just kind of engaging more with different stories about different people that they feature all sorts of Southeast Asian people in a Disney like feature, and it's just like I'm seeing people that I've never seen animated before. So like I had no problem paying to see that because it was a trip seeing characters make Penang curry in a movie. It was like super like deep cut Southeast Asian stuff in that movie.
Well, that's good. I'm glad that you're enjoying the additional representation that some marginalized communities are getting in these films now, and that's long been a problem.
Yeah, especially like Moana and stuff. Like all of these are really good, And it's always good when it doesn't feel like it's like forced. They're just really telling the good story. Of course, they have the Disneyfication of stuff that gets a little taxing, annoying. It's like, oh, look, who's going to be the next little animal friend that they're going to sell as a toy? It's just like when the formula is like very proud to be in the room. Look at me, look at my formula. That's when it gets a little annoying. But I mean, you compromise with like the deep lore of a group of people that you're just definitely not used to seeing.
Yeah, and I think it makes the stories more interesting. Admittedly, I don't see the Disney movies as often as I might. I don't have any children. My girlfriend and I don't have any
Mm-hmm.
kids that watch that sort of programming, and typically that sort of programming isn't really, I don't think, necessarily designed for me. And I'm sure that, it has to be entertaining for adults because adults are going to be there watching these shows with their children. So obviously you
Oh yeah.
can't bore them to tears. But honestly, hearing you talk about it is about as much exposure as I typically get to it, above and beyond just
Mm-hmm.
flipping through going, oh, yeah, that's that Disney movie that didn't really perform so well. All right,
Speaking
next.
of like adults exposure to these things, like I saw the Tom and Jerry movie, and that was another one that released um, through streaming, and that actually had a lot of great stuff for adults to laugh at. It was really really funny.
Yeah, you
So
beat me on that one too. I
yeah,
haven't seen
yeah. I
that.
mean, I'll be watching it all, man.
Hey, I'm lucky I got through the 4 hour Snyder cut. That's a lot of movie
Oh.
for me. Thank goodness too they put those little lines in there, the chapter markers, where
Hmm.
you can like pick up and lead off.
Yeah,
Because otherwise, I don't know why it is that like I look at a 4 hour movie and I go, oh, I can't sit through that, and then I will sit down and binge watch 8 half-hour episodes without any problem whatsoever.
I think what it is seeing 4 hours versus seeing a 45-minute thing that ends with see the next show starts in 8, 7, 6, 5. Like I think that's what it is. So you see the 4 hours, like oh man.
I know there was something reassuring about the pre-established breaks. Like, okay, I know where I'm going to jump in and I know where I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to get out, and
Mm-hmm.
this is where the stories will make sense in my brain because I'm going to remember like the first 15, 20 minutes of something I saw, and I'm going to remember like the last 15, 20 minutes of something I saw. But all that stuff
Mm-hmm.
in the middle just starts to blend after a while.
I saw it in two settings. And I was really upset with the first 2 hours because a lot of it reminded me of what I didn't like about the Joss Whedon version. But the last 2 hours I thought were pretty good. But it still annoyed me because this is just a representation of Warner Brothers' great failure. You know, and that we get to live in kind of this media engorged time that we can actually see a whole other director's cut of a movie, like four
But isn't
hours
that
worth of it.
amazing though? Isn't that amazing? I mean, when you think about music albums, albums get remastered and remixed and they get
Mm-hmm.
redone, but there's something, finite about when an artist creates a movie where you say that's the movie that we're making and that's the way it is. I mean, could you imagine if we were able to go back and look at the Suicide Squad movie, for example? What was the original intent there? Or
Mm-hmm.
the Fan Four Stick or Fantastic Four, whatever the modern one was, what was the original vision there? Because that was a movie that had a lot of really good, fun horror notes, which I enjoyed
Mm-hmm.
as a horror aficionado. Or like, what would the New Mutants movie had been like if it hadn't been delayed? God knows how many times.
It still would have been bad, Tom. It still would have been bad, bro. The New Mutants.
Oh my gosh! I might be one of the few people that kind of enjoyed that movie.
Boo,
I'm
Tom.
willing to
Boo.
admit. I know. But look, there are certain things that you wait for and want so badly that you almost can't let yourself down by hating them. Like I remember tracking that movie and telling my girl, oh, it's coming out in April. Oh no, they bumped it to October. Oh, they're gonna do reshoots. Oh, nobody's available for reshoots. And you wait and you wait and you wait and you want this thing so desperately that maybe once you finally get it, you're able to convince yourself that there was something palatable about
Bro,
it.
man,
So
I was
I
with
won't
you with
remove my
that. I was
bias.
with you with that, man. Like, I mean, I was excited that, anything that approaches the Marvel storytelling is great. What Marvel does is they take each one of their products and makes a different genre out of it. So to take the mutants and make kind of like a teen horror movie is a great concept. My problem is when I actually saw the movie, bro.
Yeah, they didn't stick it. They didn't stick it. I can understand that. I wanted that out of the Fantastic Four movie. You know, when we watch the Fantastic Four movie and you see the transformation where, you know, in 99% of superhero movies, superhero gets superpowers and is totally down and goes on to do their superhero thing. And so when you have something like the Fantastic Four, you have a person who is literally on fire all the time. That's probably terrifying. Or a human being who has become some form of living, mobile, you know, sentient rock. That is absolutely terrifying. So when you have this sort of like Carpenter-esque body horror,
Mm-hmm.
I wish somebody would really lean into it.
Yeah.
And I'm not seeing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's you want to lean into it. You don't want it to be half-hearted, and that's kind of one of the huge problems of that last one, especially when there's just too many cooks in the kitchen. You know, you could clearly see when there's too many cooks in the kitchen, and you don't really see the singular vision.
Yeah, I think you know Suicide Squad, Fan Four Stick. I will always call it
Oh,
that.
yeah.
And
Yep, yep.
the New Mutants definitely showed that problem for sure. And of course, the non-Snyder cut of Justice League, to bring it right back to the beginning, is because that again,
Yeah.
too many cooks in the kitchen, and you don't have a singular vision, and yeah, it really hurts you. And not that Zack Snyder's singular vision. I'm gonna say it's a lot of people give him credit for the character development, you know, improvement in the movie, except that he also got 4 hours. So character development becomes a heck of a lot easier when you have so much more time to work with. You have time for those nuanced moments.
I mean, like the thing is though, he was gonna make like either two movies or a trilogy. You would have had the time to do that, but the problem was, you shouldn't just come out with a Justice League movie. You need to like we need to get to learn all of those characters if you're trying to do like a multi movie like story expansion thing. You know, like we shouldn't have seen Flash like for the first time in that like horrible fever dream that Batman had in Batman versus Superman. You know,
True,
it's just
true.
weird and stupid.
But at the same time, as a comic book fan, like, and maybe that's my problem, is I'm viewing it as a comic book fan. I don't need you to tell me the backstory on Wonder Woman or Batman or Superman or the Flash. Do you think the average person needs to know more about the Flash than he's super fast and he's a little bit quirky and now
Well,
we're
I
in
mean,
it?
the reason why you're doing it is because like there's new kids that you're introducing this to. You know, like I mean, when has there been a Flash movie?
Well, I mean, but you've got the whole CW verse, and you still have, you know, decades of comics.
Yeah, but like I mean, that's one of the problems that Warner Brothers has is like, how can you do a Flash movie when you have a popular Flash TV show that's not going to match up? That's the thing though. It's either you go with the Flash from the TV show, or you still have to make a cinematic Flash. You still have to go through those steps to make that happen. If out of all the characters that needed another movie, it would have been the Flash, like you know, as a precursor to Justice League. Honestly, I really feel like just the Flash should have been the key to the Justice League more than Batman should have been. Batman should have had the same sort of pedigree that they gave the Superman. You know, like not making him front and center on everything. That just it took away all the mystique and power from Bruce Wayne and Batman.
I
You
guess
know,
so. But then how would you like now? Do you feel like when we see Spider Man, you know, did you approve of or not approve of not having an origin story in the current iteration of Spider Man? Because some people would say that got dropped right into the middle.
that's different though because we've had like 2 decades of Spider-Man movies.
That's fair.
So it's a smart thing to like not do the origin again. There's no Flash movies. There's no Wonder Woman movies like pre those movies.
It's
It
true.
was
But
only Superman and Batman for 20 years. 30 years, honestly.
and that's a fair point, but I feel like sometimes you get tied into this paradigm of having to give an origin story for some people and having to you know, get locked in that box a little bit. And I think that there is something to be said for just dropping us in it.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could do cold open stuff with like maybe look minor flashbacks. I mean, I'm not arguing against that, but you need to have that movie. You need to have it like it doesn't have to be an origin movie. It could be like like with us knowing about the Flash TV show, we don't have to go super into the origins of the character. It could be, but that movie needed to happen first because the thing is, if you look at the Marvel model, we know the characters going into the team up. So it then becomes about how those characters interact with each other. You know, to not have that creates like you guys kind of skipped some steps to get to this and nothing feels earned.
I mean, I guess so. I do see that.
The connection with Doomsday and Superman doesn't feel earned. Like when they're facing off with each other, it's like y'all just meeting each other. like, it doesn't mean anything.
Okay, so within the context of the actual movie itself, I totally get that. But I think that there's enough material out there. Oh, and one other place where we got to give a little credit where credit is due. The DC animated universe is absolutely prolific. I mean, there is so much stuff out there. And I think that, if you're watching any of that stuff, it gears towards the younger fans. So I think that that's filling that gap there where younger fans might not necessarily know some of the characters. But if you're just talking about their particular relationships within the context of the movie in this specific iteration, yeah, I could see your point that you want to know a little bit more about how and why they connect. But I just don't know if we need a 6-hour Snyder cut is all.
No, I'm not asking for that.
Are you sure? Are you sure you don't want a 6-hour Snyder cut? We might actually find out what the hell all that Martian Manhunter stuff was. That was so bizarre. What was that?
Oh, man.
Why does he know so much about Ma Kent? And does that just completely wipe away all the emotional gravity of that scene when she walks out the door and turns into Martian Manhunter? Like,
I was happy that Harry Lennox, like after playing like generic generals in almost every movie for the past 20 years,
that's fair,
gets to actually be a superhero. I really was happy that he got to do that, but the circumstances were so weird, man.
Oh, it was so shoehorned.
I hated that scene.
Shoehorned.
Like Bruce Wayne, like you can't even say Bruce Wayne. That was Ben Affleck. It was not Bruce Wayne. Ben Affleck's on this like lake house, just mildly bemused at this floating green guy, and then Martian Manhunter has the worst line. He says, "Some people call me Martian Manhunter." Who are these some people? And maybe that's the worst name to tell somebody who just like fought saving the world. Manhunter. Like, just say, "Call me John."
I mean, Batman went right inside that little cabin and started working on a contingency plan for this dude.
Not that Batman. That Batman went his ass back to sleep, bro.
That's true. The true to life or true to comic version of Batman would have immediately gone to the Batcave and started working on this. Like, who the hell is this guy? No, I completely. That was weird. That was a little bit weird for me. And then
there's a lot of weird stuff in that movie, man. There's so much weird stuff.
How are you gonna tease a new movie at the end of it? Like, we're teasing the next when you know full well nothing is coming.
Yeah,
that seemed unnecessary.
But again, it speaks to the failure, because he shot a lot of that stuff, and most of the new stuff was the Joker scene, which they obviously didn't shoot at the same time. Zack Snyder, he kind of works on a couple of levels. Like, that was cool, and the other level is like,
it was
yeah.
You sound like you're describing my experience with the Watchmen movie, so I completely understand. God, I love that comic book so much, and I actually love that movie more than I should. I know. We don't even have time to get into it, but
yeah, man. I think Watchmen is the best thing he's made. Like I think Watchmen was him really trying, like really, really trying, and And the only thing, the thing that sucks is that the whole satire aspect was lost on him. That's what makes that movie fail. You know, that he doesn't get the satire aspect. You know, like the violence wasn't done because it looked cool. It was showing like the psychological break of these characters. Like what were they being a superhero for? What Zach is like, yeah, man, like look how cool they look. You know,
yeah, and I think, look, I understand you
all.
had to change the ending of that movie. You had to change the ending of that movie.
No, you don't. I think the HBO show showed that like it was dumb to change that. Like out of all, because most of that movie's intact. Like, you know, besides the satire.
No, you cannot just drop a giant tentacle monster in the last 5 minutes of the movie and roll credits. I'm sorry, I don't see it. I think you mess up the whole storyline by making Dr. Manhattan the absolute, you know, perceived villain of that event, because Dr. Manhattan is not autonomous. He's American, and he's been working on behalf of the Americans. So the idea that this event would have brought the whole world together, spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen The Watchmen after like God knows how many years, but the idea that like the rest of the world wouldn't have just immediately pointed their guns at the US and said, your dude did this. So I think part of the message of what it was hoping to achieve is lost in that. But I feel like where you and I might be more accepting of a giant tentacle monster suddenly appearing in cities around the world, I just don't think that you could take that kind of left turn in the last 10 minutes of a movie. I feel like there's huge portions of the audience that won't go there.
Look, Magnolia had raining frogs. Watchmen had a big, like, naked blue dude with his dick out. Like, I don't think, like, a big squid in New York would have been that big a deal. Because, like, again, like I said, Watchmen, the HBO series, like, they did everything to a T from the Watchmen series, you know? And it was fantastic.
All right. Well, you know, I guess here at Tales to Admonish, we got to talk shit about stuff, but we also have to give credit where credit is due.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll give a lot of credit. Like that opening scene for Watchmen.
Oh yeah.
Lord, the times are changing.
Oh,
Jesus Christ! Like the trailer to that movie.
It's almost as good as the opening scene to Wolverine Origins.
Oh yeah, yeah. The him fighting through Civil War and everything.
Movie. That should have just been the whole movie and been
done
with it.
Liev Schreiber was such an inspiring choice to be Sabretooth, man.
That's another terrible movie that I love. It is so eminently watchable. It is objectively terrible, but it is, I will fight to the death that you can put that movie on anywhere at any point in the movie. And as a comic book fan, that shit is eminently watchable.
Well, time is wrapping up for us right now. So we have some movie homework we have to do.
All right, what are we going to talk shit about next time?
Well, we got to, I don't know if you caught up on Invincible, but we need to talk about Invincible, the series on Amazon.
Oh, Kirkman's thing, yeah.
Did you read the comic?
I never read the comic, no, but I watched an interview with Kirkman where he was talking about the development of the book and about this new series and stuff. And what is it, the first couple of episodes have already hit?
Oh, 4 episodes. And they're all an hour each.
Ooh.
Isn't that cool? They're doing an animated series like an hour drama.
Alrighty, so I will watch Invincible, and then so that'll be our movie homework.
Nope, you gotta do Falcon Winter Soldier too.
Oh, I'm so caught up on Falcon Winter Soldier. We could talk about all that Marvel. Maybe next time, you know, because we spent most of this episode shitting on DC. We'll go back and we'll talk about all of the awful stuff that happened.
But it's so fun to shit on.
I got some problems. I got to be honest. I got some problems with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I love it. I love what they're doing. And I'm a dyed-in-the-wool Marvel fanboy since forever. But I got a couple of problems.
All right. Well, we'll save that for next time. I can't wait to talk to you about it. And thank you guys for listening to Tales to Admonish.